Oh shit! What'd I do? All right, there we go.
You're the worst. You're the worst producer of all time. Hey, I want donuts. I haven't eaten breakfast yet. Do you guys eat breakfast? I should go get some donuts. What's a good donut place around here, Mark?
You don't really have many options. It's pretty much just Dunkin'.
I heard about a new breakfast sandwich at Einstein Bagels, where it's like they make the bagel out of a just like cheesy potato hash, and I'll just go find that because that sounds fucking incredible.
I think Einstein's Bagels actually originated in Colorado. Rare.
Ooh.
But also,
everybody knows that Denver is the epicenter of bagels and lox
and donuts, because we have a place called Voodoo Donuts that's like ridiculous donuts.
Most overrated shit of all time.
Have you seen them?
I had it at Universal, and the Simpsons donut from Universal. I'm not, ask anybody who's been there. The Simpsons donut at Universal is the best donut on the planet.
Okay, that's not biased because you're the most Simpsons person of all time. You literally go by the name Smithers.
Ask anybody who's been there. There's a Voodoo Donuts in the park, so we compared. It wasn't like I had one and then I had another one 6 months later. This was a direct taste test.
So there's just like there's a place that doesn't sell. So Voodoo Donuts doesn't sell that Simpsons donuts that you're talking about, right?
No, it's only sold like at shops in the park.
Okay, well that's fine. I wasn't claiming it was the best donut place in the world, but this place has
verbatim what you said.
This has some crazy different style of donuts though, which makes it unique, in my opinion.
I don't know about that. Sometimes when, like, there was a place like that in Scottsdale we went to. It's called Alien Donuts, where it had like the whole alien UFO theme. We went in there, and all these donuts had a bunch of cereal on them, different type of glazing, like some weird shit. I'm just a fan of like old fashions. If there's a good old fashioned donut, that's all I'm about. Like I would take that over any of that kind of bullshit.
Yeah. So what's your go-to donut then?
Honestly, I like the more dense donuts. I'm not that big of a fan of like what Smithers is mentioning. I don't really like the lighter, like light glazed and then just one frosting type donuts. I like the denser kind of like cakey donuts.
The cake donut.
So I like old fashions. I really like apple fritters too. If there's a good apple fritter that slaps.
But then we're not talking donuts. We're talking fritters, right? Isn't that kind of different?
I would consider it a specialty donut. It's still a donut though.
Well, that's interesting. Honestly, if I'm talking old classic, like if I'm going to Dunkin', I'll grab some Long Johns and some strawberry filled, like with the powdered sugar.
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
I like the crullers. Chocolate crullers are so good there.
The Boston creams are the donuts. Boston creams are the ones that are the best, I think. But also Krispy Kreme. If you can just get a fresh, out of the oven Krispy Kreme donut, I don't think there's anything better than that besides a cinnamon roll. An actual cinnamon from Cinnabon is the best. Dude,
I haven't had a good cinnamon bun in a minute. And we need to talk about something else, like right now.
Yep. Pastries, boys.
This has been Ryan's Recipe.
That was crisp.
I haven't heard that in a long time.
Yeah.
Did either of you watch that UFO doc that TMZ put together and released last? I think it was Tuesday.
No,
it was a documentary. Actually, I thought it was just like a 2-minute report.
No. So the commission for a release of all of the information that the Pentagon has on UFOs right now came out June 30th, I think, 29th or 30th. Like there was a deadline and they had to put it out. And apparently they spent very little time perfecting it or getting anything right or adding real detail. But TMZ decided, Harvey Levin, the guy who runs TMZ, decided they were going to spend a full hour talking about the nothing that everybody already knew about all this shit. There were like a couple new videos, but everybody's already seen, they name the videos, like the pill video, where something is flying 80,000 feet in the air and then drops down to ocean level in a second and a half. So basically, they gave us this big old nothing burger out of this fucking documentary, and I was pissed that I watched it.
So there was no new footage.
There's like a couple short videos and some, I guess what you could call eyewitness testimony, although it's not eyewitness to those specific videos. There was one guy who was an Air Force pilot, said that he saw shit like this on a daily basis.
Mhm.
Once a day he was seeing stuff that couldn't be explained.
I think he was on Rogan's podcast. I think I know who you're talking about. He like wrote a book about it, saying like there was these things he would see that would take off, and like his radar or something couldn't even pick up the speed. It was which would never happen. I don't know. He's just trying to explain like the speed at which this thing was moving in the air was not possible.
Well,
for like what something we'd create.
Yeah. I mean, I have, to me, it's a foregone conclusion that aliens exist. And I'm probably that they've been here, but I don't think that they're like coming from another planet. I think that they're coming from a different dimension.
Oh. Then they get here and like, fuck this shit.
Like an
Well,
like an otherworldly dimension, like ghosts.
I mean, sure.
So Smithers just admitted that he believes ghosts are real.
No,
Wow.
that
Wow.
implies somebody who already died, and not in a completely separate and individual entity. But sure, you thought you got me.
No, you got.
Okay.
Ghost
Well,
shit.
So, Brick, what are they? What is this then? If I mean, do you honestly think it's ghosts?
No, it's aliens. Like I said, I didn't see the video that you're talking about.
Okay. In the chat, why is it always Air Force and Navy pilots? If this happens on the daily, why aren't commercial airline pilots seeing them? There's an actual explanation for this. Apparently, I listened to an interview with Harvey Levin, and he was explaining some of this stuff, like commonly asked questions. And apparently, they do these psych evals for commercial airline pilots like once every 6 months. And if you mention that you've been seeing stuff, it's like this not very well kept secret amongst commercial airline pilots that they're not supposed to talk about the shit that they see. What they'll do is call into, like the command tower and be like, hey, is there supposed to be anything in this vicinity at this height? Because all that stuff is tracked by air traffic control. And so they'll ask, and then air traffic control will say no. And then they'll just be like, copy that. That's it. That's all they say about it. Because if you actually report it, all that stuff is recorded, and they can pull it out in your psych eval and be like, well, you're not fit to fly anymore.
And then they'll come after you and try to kill you. You will become the next Jason Bourne. You will be on the run the rest of your life. You will be wondering what treadstone is and what it means.
And why all the license plates on the street for 5 miles.
Yeah. Why can I know that I can run 5 miles straight before my hands start shaking, my legs start giving out? How do I know the 18 license plates in the bar? Sorry, I'm done.
So good.
Okay. Really glad that somehow this circled back to Jason Bourne. So, Mark, do you have a thought on what these craft are that are moving so fast that they can't possibly be human?
It just interests me. I love hearing about this shit. I don't know. It's
yes or no question. If you
these
don't
pilots are all on drugs, they all take uppers. They're all fucking tweaking out. I'd be tweaking out too.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to put them all in that bucket. But you never know what other type of substances or influences cause people to see what they see. But it's nice hearing about this. I do believe in aliens. We can't be the only fucking thing out there.
Too many things, planets, universes out there.
Yeah.
We look at our background.
We're like a grain on the fucking Amalfico's beach. You know what I'm saying, Brick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Italy.
Can we go back to the nerd YYC said plain cake donuts. Wouldn't that just be like dryness in your mouth the whole time? You have to have it with coffee. A plain cake donut.
If I took a hot dog and stapled it into a circle, like that's not a donut. It's just a hot dog in a different shape.
That could be considered a hot dog donut.
Like what you see at Starbucks.
I don't go to Starbucks. I don't go to Starbucks.
Oh, I'm too good for that. I live in Denver.
I just don't I hate it's too bitter. It's very bitter coffee.
Yo, what are those What are
Over-
those things that United Airlines gives you? Sploogewaffles? What are they called?
Waffles.
Sploogewaffles. Sploogewaffles.
Sploogewaffles. All the captains splooge in it.
Give me some
That's
more
why
of
it
that
tastes so
splooge.
good. Yeah.
The Ookie Cookie waffle. Oh.
Gives you that
The
texture
Ookie
that you
Cookie.
lack.
Ah.
All
That is
right.
that is one food. Sorry, break. That's one food that I eat where I just go, just
That
in the
doesn't even
middle
make any.
seat.
That doesn't even make any sense to do it.
It's
Yeah,
refreshing. It's refreshing. The caramel insides are refreshing.
okay, yeah, refreshing on the palate. That's splooge cookies.
Anyways.
Right.
Movie trailers, huh?
You put
I
in
eat
some.
it. I eat it from the inside out. So I literally stick my tongue in the middle, get a hole, and then I start just chewing around the sploo waffle.
Somebody
And then
clip this.
And I get to the outside.
Splooge waffle. Yeah.
Splooge waffle. Sploo.
Thank you.
Splooge.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. There's a whole technique you need to eating that, especially when you're in the middle seat around strangers.
Yeah. So if you just look up rim jobs, you can get the technique. I'm pretty sure.
So we didn't, by the way, make a post like we were going to talking about the worst shit that you've tried to watch in public, but we did get a text message from Detective Vile.
We just
And-
lost a viewer talking about that.
Rightfully so.
I don't have any movies or shows I watch in public, but I do follow some 18 plus social media career females, and I like the way he put that. It's much classier than trying to call them like internet thoughts or sex workers or something. Career, that's way better.
Well put. Well put. Yeah.
Nerdy YC will be bashing Tomorrow War after we get through some news.
Ooh.
So trailers. Do you remember for a while we were getting Liam Neeson's doing Taken, but just in a different setting? Like we had Taken Plane, we had Taken Train. Literally, he did both of those. Taken with the Wolves, and
Yeah.
now this is Blind Taken.
Did one where he was like in the Arctic too, or something.
Yeah.
Snow
Great.
dogs.
Snow Dogs 5. Did either of you see the original Don't Breathe?
I did not. After seeing the very end of it, and I'm starting to connect the dots on the original. I kind of remember, but I didn't see it. No.
I'm confused, Smithers. Wasn't the creepy guy that's in this trailer, the older guy, wasn't he the guy that was like the murderer? And now there's this little girl living with him? I'm just confused.
I didn't see it. I remember what it was about. It's this guy, some like 20-year-olds break into his house to rob him, but they don't realize that he's a super badass, although he is blind. And it's just like, it's kind of like Quiet Place. They build the tension through silence, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know how this dude ended up with a little girl, but it is the same guy. And people really like the original. So
Yeah, so the description of the movie is a blind veteran must use his military training to save a young orphan from a group of kidnappers.
that is literally what I said when I said Blind Taken.
Yeah, but then I just clarified.
So it's kind of like reverse horror going on, where you think it's the horror's coming from this group of vandals breaking into a house, but I think it actually the tables turn, because now you have this older guy who actually can fuck people up. And are we now getting the perspective from these like robbers or thieves or whatever, like them trying to hide from this guy because he's just murdering everyone?
That's what the first one was.
That's amazing. I like it.
Well,
It's like
report back then.
Yeah, it's like Nobody as well.
It's
That
like
just came out.
it's like Taken.
Yeah, I would say that's a good comparison. If you ask me, that's a really good comparison. Now that you said that, it's like Blind Taken.
Yeah,
that makes sense. That makes sense.
You guys are
Right.
all here today. That's really good. I'm proud of the teamwork you guys put together there. Did you also think, Jesus, Moose?
Moose won't shut the fuck. No, all right, let's go.
The trailer for A Dark Foe is probably the worst looking trailer I've seen.
Why did you put a made to TV
Where do
movie
you
that I don't
find
know
this shit?
anybody no actors at all are recognizable?
This at least has some that guy actors. Like you can point at somebody and be like, I've seen them in something before.
No, I didn't get any one of those.
Yeah, but you don't know shit about movies.
Oof.
That's why we call it the Chumpcast.
I mean, no argument there, but yeah, it's the acting in this. What I really wanted to do was point out to everybody who would be listening to this to Google the trailer for A Dark Foe because I want everybody else to have to see how bad this is.
That's devious of you.
I haven't seen this bad of acting since that one movie with what was the one we watched with Nick Cage?
Wiseau?
No, where he's like a ninja.
Oh, Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, I remember that trailer. I was like, holy fuck, this looks bad.
And it was.
Selma Blair. That's the only person I recognized. Yeah.
There you go. I watched the trailer for Beckett twice because I didn't understand it, and I think I might now, but John David Washington is back.
Cool.
Mark, I know you're a fan of him as well. Can you explain to me what's going on here?
Well, it looks like he's in Greece. Brick, have you ever been to Greece?
I have not. Plan on doing it though.
Well, it seems like they were on a little vacation, maybe a honeymoon. I don't know. He's with his significant other, and she dies or disappears or something. And supposedly he thinks
crash their car.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they crash the car.
And she disappears.
Nowhere to be found. And they were staying in a house that doesn't exist. And then all of a sudden people are just after him. Is he part of Treadstone? Is he Jason Bourne now? I don't know.
Is he going to go blind? And is he going to get taken?
Maybe.
This is just taken
Jason Bourne style.
Kind of. Except he doesn't have any kind of badass background or anything, right? Don't they usually allude to that if he's ex-Green Beret like Chris Pratt? Because that was fisted to shove in there.
Maybe he starts remembering what he learned in training or something, you know? I don't know.
This looks bad though, right?
I didn't think it looked very good. I didn't jump off the page at me. When I watched the trailer, and then when you said Beckett, I was like, what the hell was Beckett again? That's how, which is unmemorable.
We're just going to call it the John David Washington movie.
That works too.
What was the last good Netflix movie we had? Was that Extraction?
No, Mitchell's versus Machines.
Oh yeah, that's technically a Netflix movie. Yeah,
I guess Studios.
What's that new one that we saw the screening for? Murder or the
Fear Street?
Fear Street.
I actually really enjoyed that.
So did I. So I think
there were really dumb parts, but
it was so. Yeah, there were, but it was like really simple, and I like the way they set up the town, Shady Side versus like Sunnyvale or whatever. Just kind of like the dynamic there. They ham-fisted in there, but it's like it's simple enough where you can do like a 3-part series, but you won't do like a whole series on it. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Let's just for a minute because we're going to get into recommendations later, but we're hot. So I didn't when I was watching the first probably 45 minutes. Maybe even an hour, I thought it was like a PG-13 movie. And then they got to the end and they really cranked up the viciousness. And I wish that they had kept that ending tone throughout the entire movie. Because the first few murders are just like stabbed through the gut. Like, be creative with it. I want to see somebody get murdered. You know, like, Mark, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
It's like if that sofa chair right there came alive and just started eating people
through a window.
That's what I want to see. Yeah.
We need to get back into that. We need to get back into making stupid bets that result in one of us having to watch a shitty movie. I have to watch Old when it comes out. If Mark, that's still what your punishment is. Okay.
Fitting.
I'll do that, but we got to get back on that. Somebody could watch A Dark Foe and report back to us, or Blind Taken. Think about it.
I would see Blind Taken.
I'm going to actually make you watch Old reverse.
So it's Benjamin Button.
Exactly.
Okay.
And my channel on Benjamin Button Taken, basically.
All right. Brick, you were asking me some existential questions about Clifford the Big Red Dog. What did you think of this trailer?
I was watching it. I'm just curious, how did the dog get big? It just became, she wished it big, or
no, she just loves it.
She loves it so much that it grew.
The more you love the dog, the bigger it grows. So literally all you have to do with this little girl is tell her to stop fucking loving the dog. Take the dog away from her and tell her she can never love the dog again. And the dog stops growing. And then all the world's problems are solved.
And then it gets so big because like the whole city like loves Clifford. Is that kind of how it goes? They're like, oh, Clifford.
Yeah, even though he's like stomping and trampling through their houses and knocking down and ruining their cars and shit.
This is my prediction for the ending scene of the movie. They're in downtown New York, and the dog has gotten so big it's like a skyscraper, and it's just starting to step on people, destroy public transportation, things like that. And the fucking military's out there, and they're all aiming their guns at Clifford. And the main guy, the main whatever military dude, looks over at the little girl, and he's like, "You made us do this. You did this when you loved that dog." And she just starts crying. And he's like, "You need to leave now." And then they just fucking fire their guns, and then screen blacks. End of the movie.
I was 99% sure you were going to say that military man is going to shoot that little girl in the head.
No. That would be
so you
really
both die now. I thought you were going to say the military man was The Rock, and the military was actually just George, and it's just Rampage 2.
I didn't get into who I'm going to cast in that part, but yes, The Rock, maybe Jason Statham would work. Anyone.
Okay, give me your Clifford the Big Red Dog horror film, and I'll mark that was yours. I'll give you mine because this is rife for spoof. Same thing you guys are talking about. The more love Clifford gets, the bigger he gets. But eventually, people are loving him out of fear, because if you don't love Clifford, you are ridiculed and outcast, and Clifford will come destroy your home and take your family away. And eventually, Clifford is just too powerful. And it's like that Treehouse of Horror episode where Bart could just read everybody's minds, and if anybody had a negative thought, he would just like turn them into a rat. It's kind of like that, where Clifford knows all and sees all. He's omnipotent, and you have to love Clifford. He's your god now.
I mean, he is like a 40-story tall dog. That's kind of like otherworldly. That checks out.
That's good too.
You got one? Or are you not feeling creative enough?
I kind of was going to merge off of Mark's and said it was a Rampage 2 sequel where they have to call in George and take out this giant Clifford. So he's just like the Ralph version, but it's just Clifford because he's just too
Godzilla.
big. I wanted to stick in the Rampage universe because then The Rock's involved.
All right, a couple of bits of news. Did either of you watch season 1 of Good Omens?
No.
Okay. I did watch it. I remember recommending it when it first came out a long time ago. It was a good, at the time.
I did see Good Omens.
Did you like it?
I enjoyed parts of it because like the historical jumping. I just enjoyed how they kind of played off of their relationship throughout like the years. It was enjoyable. I think it ended a little flat because I don't remember wanting to continue it.
So this was mostly Michael Sheen and David Tennant. This came out in 2019. It's based on a Neil Gaiman book. I really like this show, and a lot of people. It had kind of like a cult following a little bit. I'm really excited that a season 2 of this is coming, and I had to point out that somebody tweeted somebody replied to the news that this was coming out and said, "There is no Good Omens 2 book. Is Neil Gaiman just going to make some story up?" As if that isn't exactly what happened the first time when Neil Gaiman wrote Good Omens.
He's so funny on Twitter. He just stays treating people.
I was going back through his tweets to he tweets so fucking much. He must not do anything else besides
he just treats people, especially the people that love his work. He'll still treat them. He'll be like, "You're a fucking idiot." He'll still be like, "I still love you, Neil Gaiman. I still love you." He's funny.
But yeah, I really enjoy this. It does have that historical fiction kind of tinge to it, where just this angel and demon were just kind of at every major turning point in humanity. It's really good. Check it out. Amazon Prime, and season 2 coming soon. Plus Neil Gaiman.
Dope.
Follow him on Twitter. Well, let's talk a little bit about what happened in the box office, because what kind of brought back the box office, quote unquote, was A Quiet Place 2. They did like 50 million opening weekend, which was something we weren't sure we were going to see again just because of the pandemic and all that shit. We don't need to rehash that. But Collider's now reporting after last weekend, Fast 9 opened with 70 million. I don't know how long it's going to be before we get back to like the 150, 200 range. But this is the biggest opening since Rise of Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
which if you think about it, that was a long ass time ago.
Sorry if you mentioned this, but is this domestic opening or is this worldwide?
Domestic. Yes.
Okay.
I don't actually know when F9 opens in China, but when it does, it will break every box office record because that's just what they do.
Mm-hmm.
They're good in the Pacific and it makes them a shitload of money. And that's why Vin Diesel and The Rock keep doing these weird movies.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like cinema is back?
I think it's getting there. I think for certain movies it will get there. But if they keep if all these streaming services keep releasing, big blockbusters at home, it's obviously going to still keep people, on their couches.
I think it's just we just evolved the market. Now these not lower end, but like these studios like Netflix and other like streaming services can make movies that are equal to blockbusters, but they still hold out for like the big ones like Black Widow and stuff like that. They're gonna release those still in big theaters and people are still going to go to those. But I think it's just leveling the playing field a little bit more. There will be more options, obviously, because the studios have gotten bigger and better at making movies.
I do like that some of the stuff that maybe isn't going to be as commercially successful. I mean, a movie can be good and not be commercially successful. And a lot of times studios will see that ahead of time from their focus group testing and stuff like that. I like that some of those are coming to streaming services now because I don't want to pay $15 for a movie ticket to go see it. So I'm glad that maybe, and sometimes shitty situations evolve this kind of stuff into something that we didn't know we needed. And I think we absolutely need more shit like this. For years, they were only selling, remember those boxes that like rich people could get where you could basically pay like you were a movie theater and it was like $800 to get a movie at release, but rich people don't give a fuck. So I've always wanted something like that and I would never be able to afford it. So this is the next best thing.
Yeah.
Fair.
And we have Elise in the chat saying that they had an awful theater experience with F9 and people just acting up. So the at-home price tag is looking pretty good. With these movies, though, it is dependent on what theater you go to, what kind of people go to those theaters. Are they the people that are extremely loud and vocal? Because I've been to theaters that, I don't know why certain people go to the theaters that they do. But with these movies, I found that there are a lot of people that go there to pretty much they have a good time at the movie, but they're there just to make fun of it and laugh at every scene that's over the top and ridiculous. And with Fast and Furious movies, that's the majority of them. So you're going to get those people that are nonstop making comments about, Letty jumping off of a motorcycle onto, Dom's truck and surviving somehow. Yeah. You're always going to have those people. And I get that.
It depends. You're right. Like if you're sitting next to somebody who's talking, that sucks. But go see it in IMAX where it's so loud that you can't hear anything else anyway. I think that we're not far off from everyone having their own headset in a movie theater, or like you bring your own and it connects to Bluetooth. I don't think that that's necessarily a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have to worry about other people talking and, noise cancellation is good enough at this point.
I also think you could also have it where you do have, maybe that would be bothersome if you had surround sound, but also headsets, because you would like feel the rumbling outside. I don't know. I feel like you could do it regularly, like have regular sound playing, and then you could also have an option for headphones if you wanted to. That might not be a bad idea.
I've seen prototypes for like what the next generation of movie theater seats will look like. And they have built-in speakers like all around you instead of putting in the giant theater wide one. I don't understand what the benefit of that would be, but whatever. Elise is talking about people in Fast 9 taking pictures of the screen with flash. First of all, how fucking stupid are you? Yeah. You're taking pictures of a light source and you're trying to cancel it out with your flash. Turn your fucking flash off, dummies.
There's no reason for that
in the movie theater. People are idiots, but I don't really remember where I was going with that. Last bit of news. We're getting another Simpsons crossover, this time with Loki. They did the Star Wars version of this for the second season of Mando. I think that was. And I hope that they put a little bit more I don't want to say effort because it was well done. What I want is voices from The Simpsons to do this. And they did say that Tom Hiddleston is going to voice Loki in the animated version. So I'm good with that. But Loki's very much like Bart Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
Both pranksters, except Loki's a murderer. So I'd like to see them play off of each other, maybe even against each other.
Did you guys see them? Go ahead, Brick.
Does Bart murder anybody in the entire series? He has to, right? Isn't he Treehouse of Horrors?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
they're both murderers too.
That's fair. That was never really canon, but there was that one time he shot a bird with a BB gun, killed it, and then raised its kids. Except they turned out to be lizards because it's The Simpsons.
Are you going to buy this poster, Smithers? It's pretty sweet. Got the whole Avengers.
It is kind of a poster, but no. I want to hang shit like this in my actual office, like at work. But I feel like then it invites your coworkers to come have weird conversations with you, and I don't want to have weird conversations with my coworkers.
Yeah, you got Flant Man. Flanders is Ant-Man.
Yeah, wow. The mustache is very prominent there. I like Fat Barney Iron Man, who is literally burping lightning.
Awesome.
Oh, that's good stuff. All right. Let's wait. I feel like there was more news. Damn it. There was something I was going to throw in here and I totally forgot what it was. So my bad. Let's do our recommendations. Brick, what do you got?
Recommendations this week. I think I recommended Chivalry 2 last week.
You did.
Let's see. So there's a show on HBO, a new movie that came out on HBO that I thought was pretty entertaining. It was called No Sudden Move with Benicio del Toro. We've got Don Cheadle. We've got John Hamm. We've got David Harbour's in it. 1950s. Yeah.
I've heard nothing about this movie.
Yeah. So it came out. It's basically just like a crime movie in the 1950s of Detroit. And so this like band of criminals go in for a simple job and all of a sudden shit goes wrong. Simple enough. But it's 1950s, good historical piece. Just like cool to see the era itself. Just interesting movie and great cast.
I'm so shocked this came out, and like I remember seeing the trailer and thinking that looks incredible. We need to watch it, and it's just nobody's talking about it.
Yeah,
wow, that's incredible. I've been watching old Top Gear reruns on Amazon Prime, starting with like season 3. They have the old school British ones where they just shit on every car and they're idiots in a studio. It's Jeremy Clarkson's hilarious. All of these guys are super funny. And in Europe, it's a lot more popular. Like everybody's seen it, and here everybody likes the memes and shit. But it's really entertaining, and they do more of, instead of American TV where you just like throw the biggest fucking motor in it that you can, they do stock like regular cars off the factory assembly line, and they like, how does it corner? How much does it weigh? How comfortable is it and shit like that? So it's a little bit more in depth than just make it go straight and fast.
Nice.
Car guy.
I'm gonna say Monsters at Work, even though it's not out yet. So it's the sequel to Monsters University, I believe, and it follows Tyler Tuskman. So this was a previous student at Monsters University who now realizes that laughter is better than fear. And he wants to work, obviously, at Monsters Incorporated, where Mike and Sully work. So it's going to follow him. And this is a series that will premiere on July 7th. So maybe you want to keep an eye out for that. It's on Disney Plus.
You know what else I saw that came out that I have not yet watched is that America, the Motion Picture cartoon that came out on Netflix.
That's out already? Shh.
I believe it came out already. Let me double check that. But my sister was asking me if I had watched it. Joe was saying that he got a screener for it, so I'm guessing that was relatively recent.
Yeah.
5.6 out of 10 on
Ouch.
TV. I could watch. Well, I mean,
It is out.
it's kind of, you got to know what you're getting into. It's one of those. It's like a Fast and Furious movie where you have to know it's going to be stupid and corny and probably make bad jokes, but
a chainsaw-wielding George Washington teams with beer-loving bro Sam Adams to take down the Brits in a tongue-in-cheek riff of the American Revolution. Channing Tatum, Jason Mantzoukas, and then Olivia Munn were the top 3 casted there.
I wonder if this is going to be one of those where I watch it and I'm like, well, Team America World Police did it better, because there's no way it's going to be better than that movie.
I think historical humor in general is a good formula for a comedy series.
Hell yeah, Lone High. I love that. I can't wait.
Drunk History.
Drunk History is incredible. I would have loved to have gone on that show and just talked about like Genghis Khan. Perfect.
Best.
We the best.
Worst.
The worst. She's the worst person in the world. Huge skank, terrible. But thank you.
Boys, if I may, I'd like to kick this off.
Go ahead.
So we are entering the biggest grilling weekend of the year, probably between this and Labor Day, maybe Memorial Day. I love that sometimes someone writes an article so stupid that everyone is against it. And that happened with the anti-grill bro who tweeted out, admit it, grilling is bad. And he wrote an entire article about it. And he wrote it for Business Insider, which is kind of a horseshit website. It is relatively popular, but they do a lot of opinion shit. And obviously this is bad. But I think this is a pro move. I think it's a pro troll move. Nobody had any fucking idea who this guy was up until he wrote this article. His name's Josh Barrow, and he timed it perfectly leading up to 4th of July. If you go to try and read the article, it's behind a paywall. This is a brilliant move.
Wow.
The stupidest fucking headline of all time. It's very bad and wrong, but I do appreciate the troll hustle.
Did you buy the subscription to read the article?
Fuck no, I'm not reading this dumb shit.
There you go. So it didn't really work.
Well, I mean, a lot of people did, I'm sure. I'm sure that this is probably the most clicks that this guy's ever gotten just for putting something out there that would piss off the entire internet. I mean, the tweets in response were like, this man is a war criminal.
Yeah, that checks out.
Ian Rappaport tweeted about it. He says, I feel like I'm professional ignoring horrible takes, but I cannot ignore this. Maybe the worst take I've ever seen on any subject. This guy's main argument was basically, so he says, like, your grill is dirty. Your food is like sticks to the grill grates. You get uneven heat from a grill as opposed to on a stovetop or an oven, because apparently he's never heard of indirect heat. All of his opinions are wrong and bad.
So he's just bad at grilling, and so he just it's stupid, doesn't work.
This is like before COVID came along, and we could all still pray that, like, if some foreign entity came, like aliens came, we could unite the planet against something. And then COVID came and we couldn't even fucking do that. But back in those days, we could say that's the enemy, a common enemy. And this guy is the common enemy.
Fact.
He also, one of his main arguments is that once you grill on the grates, your food is just stuck to that and you're grilling on top of old food. Clean your grill, first of all. Secondly, Who fucking cares? That's literally what seasoning a cast iron pan is.
100%.
You're getting the flavors and the oils and the patina into your food. I really should have eaten breakfast before this episode.
Wait, so do you think this guy is just trolling people? Like, he doesn't feel this way at all? Or do you think he's genuinely being honest?
It's possible that he does feel this way and he prefers to cook in the kitchen. But I think that he just had the idea to come out so hard against grilling and be like, no, this is what will get page views, because that's all the news, quote unquote, is anymore anyways, is how many people can I get to click on this? And in this scenario, I'm pretty sure that he wins.
Wow.
Also, he must not live in the South or anywhere where it gets hot and humid, Because
not.
I do not turn my fucking oven on when it's 95 degrees and 100% humidity outside. That's really stupid.
This guy probably lives in LA in like a nice condominium building, a high rise, where they have grills on the freaking roof that people never clean, that have to share like community grills.
Common
And he's
space.
probably just had his bad experience with grilling.
I bet he's a Manhattan guy. This seems like a Manhattan opinion.
Possibly.
That's so stupid.
This has been Ryan's Recipes.
All right, I'll go next.
He's that one twice.
All right, set you guys up with some background to this story. I'll try to make it quick, but I really want to read this freaking customer service email that I received. It was god awful. But basically, Kelly and I purchased we went on slickdeals.net. If you guys listeners have never been to that website, it's a great website. It's basically Reddit for deals. You can find anything. I literally searched, we were looking for a little kitchen play set for Nolan. I searched kitchen play set and there's just a shit ton of deals, lowest prices online. So Walmart had this kitchen play set we wanted. It was like a reverse kitchen garden play set. You like switch it back and forth, whatever. It was $40 under price. It was marked down $40 from its original retail price. So we're like, yeah, hell yeah, we'll buy it. So we purchased it. Confirmation came, all that good shit from Walmart. And then Kelly, 3 days later, receives an email basically saying that they're going to cancel. And I want to read you guys this email because I don't know who the fuck wrote this. It sounds like an actual infant was writing this email. It's terrible. But I also need to have some suspense when reading this because the way this email comes off, it's like the world is ending for Walmart. It's like if this went through, if we actually got this for $40 less than retail, it was going to shut down their whole corporation. So here we go.
Wait, does that mean that you're going to read this in your Joker voice?
No, kind of. Dear customer, due to our system problem, our price was reduced to an extreme level. Our software just couldn't work properly. That's why customers saw the reduced price. We are still working it and fixing the issue. We couldn't generate the orders because our supplier's price is high. So we had to cancel every order, and your order too. We're trying to fix this issue as soon as possible. Till then, please wait for some time. We will contact you after solving this issue. This is an extreme loss for us and also for our valued customers. We are really ashamed of this and please accept our apology. It's a request. Your credit card was never charged. If charged, you will get your refund back to your card. We apologize again for the inconvenience, but do still hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you.
Oh, I'll kill myself.
Jesus. I read that and I'm like, should I even be mad? Like, this is pathetic. This is absolutely pathetic. End of story. Walmart, I'm sorry that I got the fucking deal. It's not my problem that your fucking, supposedly your software, your pricing fucked up and charged me $40 less for this. Get fucked. By the way, though, it ended up working out because we found this absolutely cute ass food truck that Nolan now has on Amazon. So if you guys are looking for something for your 1-2-year-old, these food trucks are bomb.
Fair enough.
That's all I got.
I would like to give an impromptu worst man alive to Mark for that story. You know that was somebody who's typing English as like their sixth language. And it's somebody who's working in like a customer support center. And that's just the only way they know how to talk in order to be apologetic. And Mark's just like, no, this has got to be a human in America who is just on the verge of literal suicide in response to Mark's.
So I'm supposed to be okay with $550 billion valued Walmart, having somebody send me this email that is basically saying, yeah, we fucked up, but honestly, we couldn't charge you because it would have bankrupted us. That's basically what I got from this email. It's a bunch of bullshit.
Mark is the resident Karen of the Chumpcast.
It's a bunch of fucking bullshit.
He would like to speak with the manager, please. All right, Brick,
what do you got? He didn't speak to the manager. You're like, fuck you, I'm going to go to Amazon.
Yeah. I got a better fucking Fisher Price little baby thing.
Dope. Yeah. So this guy in Tulsa, Oklahoma, a man tried to rescue a cat that climbed into a tree, and then he found himself that he couldn't get down either. So he had to call the fire department to get rescued. So that's the guy.
Dude, it would have been great if like a guy in a cat outfit showed up to rescue him.
That would have been
An angelical cat.
Angelical cat.
Angelical.
You uncultured swine.
It could be angelic too.
I'm kind of surprised that that's never been like a Jackass sketch, like where Steve-O, or probably like Bam, gets into a cat suit and just gets stuck up in a tree and is screaming down, "Somebody call the fire department."
Probably Wee Man. Or
no, Preston. Big
Preston,
fat.
exactly. Yeah, Preston works too. Yeah. Well, Jackass 4 is coming out, so maybe there's hope that they do that, something stupid like that.
Maybe we should just start our own Jackass style show where we probably become infertile from hitting each other in the dick so much.
Yeah, chump ass.
I got one more. Did you guys see that Richard Branson is just absolutely dunking on Jeff Bezos?
No.
So like a week or two ago, it came out that Bezos was going to try to go to space. Richard Branson's come out since and said, "I'm going up a week sooner, bitch," because he wants to be the first billionaire in space. And I am all for these idiots wasting all of their money to be the first to do it. Fucking morons.
I would have figured Elon Musk would have gone to space already.
Maybe he has, and he just hasn't told us. Maybe he's an alien.
Dude,
it's like
for sure
style shit.
He's had his fucking space helmet on with just like a bomber jacket. He's so sick. He's just like, all right, let's go for the weekend.
This is not something I want to be the first to do. You're like, you guys go ahead and perfect this, then we'll talk.
Exactly. I'm not going to rush it because there's definitely things that can go wrong going to space. I don't care how many billions of dollars. If you try to rush something,
okay,
might not go off. Might not go off.
Made it back fine.
Yeah, if you watched F9, you would know that surviving in space is actually pretty easy.
Can we actually
say that they were
not do Tomorrow War this week and just keep talking about F9?
Sure.
No, mine was bad.
It's blasphemous that you would say F9 is bad, but I wouldn't expect anything less from someone who doesn't appreciate family.
Okay.
That was a side swipe at you. All right, we're going to talk about the Tomorrow War. I'm interested. I'm getting a lot of mixed reviews from the people I speak to. Joe, who we usually do trivia with, loved it, gave it a 5 out of 5, which I was floored by. So check out Guy at the Movies for his review if maybe you disagree with us and you thought this was perfect. I also don't know what Brick thought of this because we haven't talked about it. But this was the big July 4th Amazon Prime blockbuster release. Came out yesterday, July 2nd, starring Chris Pratt, Yvonne Strahovsky, Betty Gilpin, J.K. Simmons, Sam Richardson. This is targeted specifically at you, Brick.
Fuck yeah. Betty Gilpin, Chris Pratt, J.K. Simmons.
This was originally supposed to be a theatrical release via Paramount, and obviously the pandemic hit and Amazon bought it up. So critics are kind of mixed on this. It's roughly 52% on Rotten Tomatoes, 80% from fans, just barely enough to miss out on that popcorn flick status, although it's clearly a popcorn flick. I don't have the director's information in front of me. Produced by David Ellison.
Chris McKay was the director.
Thank you. I don't know why I didn't remember that because obviously Chris McKay did this. I listened to an interview this week where he was talking about some of the robot chicken shit that he did. Mm-hmm. And now he's doing the Tomorrow War, which is an alien blockbuster with Chris Pratt. Mark, without getting into any plot points, give me your high-level thoughts. And actually a recommendation because we are going to spoil this.
Sure. It was going real well up until about an hour and 30 minutes in. This is a 2 hour, 15, 20 minute movie. Mm-hmm. So I had about an hour left. And that last hour, I wouldn't say ruined the movie for me, but it went downhill. It got a little bit ridiculous, in my opinion. I still think this is one of the better popcorn flicks, big blockbusters that we're going to get at home in streaming over the last year or so. So I'm not going to completely rag on it. I did enjoy it for the most part. And my recommendation would be a save it.
Okay. How about you, Brick?
So I really like this movie. I'll say see it, actually, because it's got a great cast, good humor in there, good action scenes. It has what you want in a popcorn flick action movie. I cared just enough about the characters to be invested in it enough. But they also had really cool different sceneries that they changed to and from. And then I just liked the character relationships that they had. I wish they had more Betty Gilpin in there. I liked her character a lot. I think they failed on the score a lot because it was so quiet at some points and so super loud at other points. I think if they would have just kind of leveled out the sound, it would have been a little bit better. But some of the writing was a little obvious, but at the same time, popcorn flick, so I didn't mind it. I still thought it was funny. See it.
The last point you made there was the second biggest problem I have with it, is that it was extremely predictable. Not necessarily a bad thing when you're watching a popcorn flick. I mean, the 9 avoided being predictable by just getting more and more ridiculous. And I think that's one way to get out of it. Even if you know that the good guys are going to win in the end, you need some kind of stakes raising here. And I think they did the opposite in this movie. Chris Pratt was really good. I didn't think he was going to be in this. And he has so much fucking charisma. It's not fair.
He's so likable.
Yes, he is. But his personality in this movie is like, hey, I'm the greatest at everything up until I fucking hate myself and I'm the worst human on the planet. And I feel like that's shades of Brick and a little bit of me, maybe, where you're super arrogant right up until you're like, no, I'm the worst. I should just fucking die.
Yep. Sounds about right.
The biggest problem I had with this is that it just doesn't logically make any fucking sense. And they try to dance around it and they try to explain their way out of it. It just failed on that front in my eyes. And I don't need something to make perfect sense because I've been talking about how much I love Fast 9. If you're going to be that ridiculous and stupid, you really got to go for it. And I don't feel like this was a full send. I feel like they were a little shy to do that.
Yeah, no, their entire premise in the very beginning was like the dumbest shit ever. I wrote halfway through the movie, just like explained how they should do it. And then they're just like, that's how they did it at the very end. I was like, you should have done that the first time. What the fuck are you doing, idiots? But I still liked it.
It did have like the requisite corny lines from Chris Pratt talking to his young daughter. Like, if you want to be successful, you have to be willing to do what no one else wants to do. So it's got a lot of that too, which is just cookie cutter. I mean, it's not bad necessarily. It's just kind of eye-rolling.
Yeah, but Chris Pratt delivered the roles. He delivered the lines to the point where I was like, yeah, it's fine. It's corny writing, but I'm like, yeah, I believe it because of Chris Pratt.
Okay. I think that we've kind of set this up. And at this point, we're going to start talking about some spoilers for this movie. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to throw this banner up on the bottom that will warn you in case you jump in late. If you haven't seen this and you want to, I would probably say it can't necessarily be spoiled because everything that happens is super predictable anyways. But that said, if you want to go in completely new to it, maybe just mute your Twitch feed. Do not turn off your Twitch feed, you sons of bitches. But spoilers from this point forward. I still don't think that this made any sense. And Mark, we were talking about the time jump ahead of this. So the military comes back in time 30 years. They reveal in this that they only bring forward certain people who were already dead by the time this war commences.
Because they can have two of the same person in the timeline, whether it be the present, which is the past, or the future, which is 30 years later, which I thought was like, okay, you could really get into that, but fine, I'll leave it be.
Made more
it was
sense than
Froze.
Tenet.
Okay. Well, it makes more sense than my 1-year-old son trying to explain the plot to a movie too, but that's a really low bar to clear. The problem that I had with that is that they explain that, and then they talk about the people who they send back to who are like training people. They're people who are so young that they have not yet been born at this time in the past. So there's no instance where you could run into a past version of yourself. Got it. Okay. So at the end, when his daughter is about to die, it doesn't matter because he's going to go back in time and save the planet anyways.
Exactly.
So why is he so upset about anything that could possibly happen to his daughter, Yvonne Strahovsky?
Well, I would say it's traumatic to see your daughter get killed right in front of you and then go back in time. And just like, that's just a traumatic experience overall.
He does still have to execute. It's not like it's already solved. Like, he has the formula. He still has to go back in time and make this happen, though. And I think it was a lot of weight put on his shoulders. He just witnessed his daughter die right in front of his eyes per brick. But it's not like we knew it was going to be solved by him having this venom or this whatever
Serum.
Poison. Yeah. But
Toxin,
in the movie, he didn't, because he still needed to execute. He still needed to make it happen, which is a lot of weight put on his shoulders.
Yeah, the stakes are that high.
Dies in the future, though. Like her loss of life is completely irrelevant. The only people who would suffer from this are the ones who got sent into the future and actually died at war, because they wouldn't be able to come back, right? That's the only stakes here.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be shook if you were in that situation? Yeah, that's why he's fucking shook to the core right when he sees his daughter again after he saw her got murdered. Yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
No, you know what's fucked up is that if this were a real scenario, he probably would have gone to the future and seen Yvonne Strahovsky and been like, damn, that girl's hot, only to find out that it's his daughter.
Damn, yeah.
Yeah, happy they didn't go that route. The part that I thought was fucked up. The part that I thought was fucked up was the whole premise of bringing people from the past to fight in the future war, rather than just go back in the past and be like, yo, there's fucking aliens coming in 30 years. You have a 30-year head start than we did. Here's some information about them. Fucking somebody just make something to kill them. That makes more sense than, actually, we can travel back to the portal. We can go to the future, bring people with us. Oh, also, the portal is just drops from the sky. So 70% of the people that start just die immediately on impact.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Brick, but I still think they were such at a low count of bodies, to defend off. Like, the world was literally about to end. They needed to up that count to just like hold them back, to figure something out.
Shield.
Yeah.
They're literally just pulling out people who don't matter.
Yeah.
And throwing them out there as meat shields.
And they still needed to get like the blood of the female and all that shit, or whatever, the ooze. So they needed to be in the future and be doing things, but they couldn't do things if they didn't have anyone to help fend off these white spikes, is what they're called.
Okay. I like the movie more now that you explained it like that. I could get behind it.
What I didn't understand is
casualty rate out the roof.
Me just thinking of this event now technically shouldn't have happened. This is the biggest spoiler. Yes, Chris Pratt saves the day. What we assume is that he destroys all these white spikes in the past or in the present, 30 years before the future. And that would have caused this war to never happen. So the people from the past or the present that they sent to the future that died, did they really die, since the event actually never took place?
Well, they would have died regardless. Like, so that's what Dorian's story is. By the way, I hated that character played by Edwin Hodge. Now, I didn't hate his performance. I hated the way it was written. Mm-hmm. But I think they were trying to make him hateable, like he's a shitbag. But so it's revealed when they're testing Chris Pratt that he's going to die in the year 2030. So he's okay. They can send him forward, and it doesn't matter if he fucking dies because it won't fuck with the timeline. Mm-hmm. Which is also stupid because that's 7 years in the future, and he could do infinitely stupid things between now and then that would change the it doesn't matter. Now I lost my... Okay, this guy finds out that 6 months from now, this Dorian guy, that he's going to die of cancer. So he doesn't care. He'll keep going back to the future and fighting. They mentioned that he's going to do his third tour. And at one point he says he wears one of the white whatever things. I almost called it white claws.
Yeah.
The white spikes.
Or it was an actual claw. Yeah, I don't know.
He had a white claw dangling from his necklace. He was always blacked out.
That was a perfect marketing opportunity. White Claw could have gotten behind this and done a whole ad campaign. That would have been perfect. Anyways, they probably don't want someone saying White Claws are killing everyone.
Yeah.
But he at one point he pulls out the claw and he says, Chris Pratt calls it a reminder or a souvenir, and he's like, "It's not a souvenir, it's a reminder."
I said that out loud before he said it.
And I was like, "What the fuck do you think a souvenir is, you dumb motherfucker?" It's oh god, it was so bad. I hated that fucking character.
Can someone explain this line?
I knew I had to shoehorn that in here.
Okay. Can someone explain this line to me? I think J.K. Simmons says, "Sliced it up like Julia Childs," after referring to talking about when Sam Richardson randomly circular sawed an alien.
It up like Julia.
Sliced it up like Julia Childs. I wrote that down because I was like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Well, she had a cook. She was a cook, right?
Yeah.
Julia Childs was a cook?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was an old ass cook.
Oh, yeah. Julia Childs. I thought they said Julia Stiles.
No.
Okay. I was like, what the hell did Julia Stiles do? Wasn't that the chick from Save the Last Dance or something?
That would have been way funnier, and it would have been a completely bullshit throwaway line that makes zero sense.
I was so confused. I was like, why are they coming at Julia Stiles like that? Okay. It's Julia Childs. That's actually funny. Okay. Makes sense.
Oh, that's good. Okay. I wanted way more J.K. Simmons because J.K. Simmons is the best, and I want to see him do everything in every movie.
What's with him and Estranged Dads all of a sudden? We got Invincible. We got
Palm Springs.
Palm Spring. Okay, I guess.
Yeah, he's just a guy who got wrapped up in that.
Kind of like he's a father figure.
Fair enough.
And then he was in Defending Jacob. He was the fucking dad in jail. And then this movie, he's just like some estranged dad who killed people, I guess.
Can we talk about something like, I know that we have tropes that we love and hate. My favorite trope is always still in a fight scene when you throw somebody up on the bar and you push them down the bar and they break all the glasses with their head, even though like that, it's just stupid. If you need blood for something,
I know you're going to go with the trope.
Cut the palm of your hand, you fucking idiot. Cut literally anywhere else. It's the dumbest. Cut like your arm up here or something. You need this. You need this to do things with your hands.
No, it's like such a delicate piece of skin right here. Oh.
It's never going to heal. It's going to be way painful.
Forearm scars are way cooler too.
Yeah. You get to show it off and be a badass. And like, yeah, I got this when I was fighting an alien. You don't tell them you did it to yourself.
Yeah. When I saved the world from white spikes.
Maybe like a teardrop scar, like, hey, monster. Ah, fuck.
That is
come get
me.
Yeah.
I could see John Wick doing that, but probably not J.K. Simmons in this movie.
I will say, go ahead. Sorry, finish your thought.
I loved that he was a complete recluse and like anti-government. And he's got a sweet old Mustang. This checks all the boxes for summer blockbuster alien movie.
Yeah, no, that was great. I will say the part where Smithers, you felt that this movie was predictable. The one part that I didn't think was predictable was that I thought was going to be super predictable was when he did that trope, when he did the blood on his hand, come get me, monster, and the monster would veer off and focus on him. I thought the monster was going to kill him. And that's how, they were both going to go out. That didn't happen though. So I thought that was obviously not, because then gets more ridiculous. You have Chris Pratt just up in the air, somehow just riding this thing like a bull all of a sudden.
Can we talk about, because am I crazy, or did they make Chris Pratt really tiny in that scene?
I don't know. I had to go back and rewatch.
He jumped like 12 feet, I feel.
Like
that.
When he's like actually holding on to the queen or whatever, they made the queen 3 times more gigantic than it had been in any other scene.
And it was supposed to be like a baby infant. It like wasn't fully born yet.
Right. So it was very weird. This is very 90s, early 2000s action movie.
Is Chris Pratt Spud Webb? Because he did jump like 12 feet, and he might have been extremely short in that scene.
Maybe he was still flying after he launched the snowmobile into the giant alien queen. That was the dumbest thing. I mean, I loved it. Don't get me wrong. That ending scene. That's where they went full send, and that's what I enjoyed.
So let me ask you: is it a see it or a save it for you, or skip it?
Still a save it, because some of it was just so I can't get over the time travel conundrum and shit. And some of it, like where he's kicking the queen in the face, that'd be like if I tried to kick a hippo in the face. The hippo would just fucking eat me.
Straight up, yeah. It turned into like him doing some like boxing moves onto that alien. He was just punching the shit out of it at the end. I mean, yeah, he had the tooth in it, but that shit ain't gonna do anything.
I guess because they kind of blinded it. Maybe this blind thing will show up in Blind Taken. But I don't know. It's stupid. And Brick, I want to ask you a few things about this. Mostly, what did you think of Sam Richardson?
I liked this character. I thought he was great levity throughout the entire movie when he was in it. I like the relationship that he had.
He did a good job of grounding it in the fact that everyone would be terrified if you're sending civilians in to do this. So that was good. Did they ever redeem him? Because he comes back from the future and everybody's like, you survived. And he's like, I did. And he was going to make up for that. But I don't.
He literally circular sawed an alien in the fucking head like a badass.
Defense than anything else.
I think that was his redemption.
Him
though.
Going on the trip and then him being like, fuck it, I'm not going home. Let's not wait for the UN to do this. Let's just go do this now. He turned a corner.
I guess.
He wanted to do the right thing.
I would have liked something where he thinks that he's going to sacrifice himself, but he actually ends up surviving, maybe. To like save the whole group.
That would have been nice. But he saved J.K. Simmons when he fucking took a saw to the head of an alien. That was fucking badass as fuck. That's his moment.
Can we talk about the fucking high school kid that basically unlocks this secret for them? This kid's probably what, 15?
So convenient.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the volcanic guy.
Chris Pratt's a science teacher, and this kid in his class, he loves volcanoes for some fucking reason. And the kid always wants to talk about volcanoes, and Chris Pratt doesn't want to call on him. But guess what? He saves the world later on in the movie.
I was happy they brought this kid back.
To an actual geologist or something instead of Chris Pratt's like, wait, I'll go to this high school kid.
I loved it. I thought it was a great little callback, brought levity. Sam Richardson's like, I love this kid. It was fucking great. I enjoyed that scene. I thought that was a cool little dumb callback.
Did you like Gail the Snail?
Yeah, Gail the Snail made it a good appearance. I started watching Always Sunny again. That could be a recommendation. But yeah, she was there. She sacrificed herself for the better good, I guess. But like, she was fine. She didn't do anything.
She was the one under the bridge, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. I have so many just random notes from the shit that I was.
I kind of didn't like how they started making us feel like we were going to get some background on these side characters, like Sam Richardson's character, and then Edwin Hodge, who played Dorian, who was like the badass Marine guy. We know he gets cancer, but like with Charlie especially, or Sam Richardson, they start getting into like what happens to him and then his wife and all that shit, and then we don't hear from them for an hour, and then they show up again in that scene where I hid whatever, and now he's back in the group. I thought they could have done a better job at maybe like switching the time where we now see Charlie is hiding from these things and get a look into that. And then I don't know. I felt like they built up these side characters, then said, all right, forget about it for this next hour and 15 minutes. And then they brought him back. It was just kind of stupid.
Because the main story was about Chris Pratt, and they were side characters, and it was already 2 hours and 20 minutes. You're not going to want to extend that much more into the side characters.
That's a good point. Special effects were pretty good. I liked that. They clearly thought that this was going to be their summer blockbuster, and they went
Mhm.
all out. I didn't see I guess I can look up what the budget was. I have just a shitload of random notes on stuff that I was just stream of consciousness writing down. Like Chris Pratt, when they were testing him, they were just like, take off your shirt, you fucking himbo. There was no reason for him to be shirtless in that scene whatsoever. They were just like, let's shoehorn Chris Pratt shirtless in this.
I do like how they started the time traveling event at like a sporting event. I don't know why. I just always think that cataclysmic, weird events that happen at sporting events are always cool. Just interesting.
Okay, so I wrote this down because I was thinking about it. If you were watching the World Cup and this happened, what would you think was actually going on? Because nobody would believe it, right? I would for sure think that it was some viral marketing campaign.
No, I would believe it if it was in the middle of a giant play to win the game type shit that all of a sudden something just interrupted it and just like fucked everything up. I'd be like, I am sitting down and watching the hell out of this. What the fuck is going on?
I guess I would probably be like, oh, Jimmy Kimmel's at it again. It's a prank.
During the World Cup, someone opening up a rift to a time portal.
I guess.
That ruined.
I would still be of the belief that like you could get the players in on it and just tell them like, hey, we're going to pay you $1 million for this. And it's going to end up being an ad for a movie that's coming out. And it would be the most viral shit. It would be like a modern day War of the Worlds broadcast.
It wouldn't be enough because those players make more money playing the game.
That 30-second thing though, like
it'd be the biggest scandal of all time if it was during the World Cup game and all of a sudden a breakaway got interrupted because of a movie ad. You kidding me?
Would see that movie though. Or it would be the thing where when they released that iPhone that was preloaded with that U2 album and everybody was like, fuck this album, I'm never going to listen to it. It would be
silhouette commercials. Yeah. Just
yeah. Fuck you, Bono. I don't really. I have every day was trash day in this universe. The garbage cans were always out at the curb. Chris Pratt is constantly checking the trash.
That's true.
Well, because he went, it's a 7-day thing. You literally go. So he went on one day, came back on another day, and the trash was out. Duh.
You know what? I hadn't. Well, no, because they go to Russia. And he comes back and it's trash day again. So it took exactly 7 days again. That looked like one day to me.
You think they did all that in one day? They traveled to Russia. It takes a day to travel to Russia, dude. Are you kidding me?
Okay,
that could have been a 7-day escapade.
Fuck you. How did people run
alien?
Your running rating?
No one ran odd, so I didn't have it. I didn't. It's a good run rating, I suppose.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I got nothing else. I none of the rest of my notes make any sense.
I wanted more Betty Gilpin. Have her in Chris Pratt's role for the next movie if they do another.
She's a badass action star. I love Betty Gilpin.
Yeah, she's awesome in The Hunt.
Hell yeah, underrated.
So she's like a combat, like post-combat therapist. So I think you could probably rationally assume that she was in the military.
Mm-hmm.
You could give her some sort of badass backstory. Chris Pratt was a Green Beret. Maybe they met in the military. You could absolutely do that in the sequel.
Yeah.
Then she comes along for the last alien murder fest just to save her daughter. Obviously, should want to help. I guess someone has to watch the kids.
I guess I do have to say that Bullet Mustang is a pretty sick Mustang. That old Steve McQueen Mustang that J.K. Simmons had.
Cool.
I'll shut up about cars now. Anything else on this before we wrap up?
It's not bad for a streaming blockbuster.
Yeah, I'd be pissed if I'd gone to see it at the theater, though, I think.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's been episode 252 of the Chumpcast. Thanks for tuning in. As always, you can find us on all social media platforms at the Chumpcast. You can call or text us at 847-920-6107. I want to say happy 4th of July, everybody. Please don't blow your fingers off. Oh, fuck. That's what I forgot to talk about. That LA thing that I posted in Discord where the LAPD was trying to dispose of something like 500 pounds of illegal fireworks, and instead they detonated it and blew up a truck and like a whole city block. It flipped cars over.
Oh my God. I thought you were going to say
nearby cars. How fucked up is that to do in downtown? Why wouldn't they take this out in the desert and do it, or like shoot it up in the air? They almost killed some people. They did it in a fucking residential area, isn't this your job? Aren't you like a demolitions team?
Dude, I thought that was going to be like a 21 Jump Street scenario where the cops found all this, just like, how do we get rid of it? How do we confiscate it? They look at each other, burn it to the ground, and they just start burning it.
And I know
Blow
that
everything
something
out.
probably went horribly wrong, but Jesus, be careful with that.
Like super
Anyways,
bad. Super bad.
M80s, man. Fucking M80s.
Let me quickly talk about what we got coming up here, gentlemen, because we have a nice little streak of some decent movies, I think, on the way.
Sure.
Next week, we got Black Widow.
Mhm.
Following week, we got Space
you
Jam.
gotta do Black Widow without me.
You're out next week?
Yeah,
Cool.
When do you come back? Monday? Just do Monday.
I'll be back late Sunday.
Whatever.
Okay. Then we got Space Jam the following week, which I'm getting more and more lenient to. I'm down to see that.
You clearly didn't watch the clip that they released this week where Speedy Gonzalez and Granny are in the Matrix. It's so stupid.
I don't know. I saw Elmer Fudd playing Dr. Evil, and I was like, all right, fine. I'll
No.
see it. Right? Yeah. And then we got the new G.I. Joe movie, and then you also will
Looks
have
terrible.
to see Old Smithers
Yeah.
that comes out that week.
Yes.
Then we got the following week, we got Jungle Cruise or The Green Knight or
Green Knight.
Stillwater.
Green Knight looks incredible.
Yeah, it does. It
I
really
still
does.
might go see Jungle Cruise though.
Same. Emily
Disney
Blunt,
Plus
The Rock.
premiere on that. Yeah.
There's another one called Stillwater, which is a Matt Damon movie. An American oil rig roughneck from Oklahoma travels to Marcel to visit his estranged daughter, who is in prison for a murder she claims she did not commit.
Sigh.
That sounds like one of those every other Matt Damon movies that he does, like Suburbicon, where it's just boring as shit.
Yep.
Well, I think it could be pretty frustrating because it says confronted with language barriers, cultural differences, and complicated legal systems, he has to like figure out a way to
Seriously, this feels like a movie that Tom Hanks would do, and you're just like, this is so fucking boring.
Tom Hanks is coming up next, but we got the Suicide Squad the following week, and then after that, Free Guy.
Yeah,
Nice.
there's some good ones.
We got some bangers coming up, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm
We just had
talking
to suffer through 18 months of shitty movies and nothing coming out to get to this point.
about. Exactly. Correct the mundo.
All right, Mark. Mark is still releasing his weekly new comic book picks. I'm going to try and start streaming some racing. And Brick, maybe you need to stream some Chivalry too. Tuesdays, D&D, Descent into Avernus or Avernus or whatever, depending on how you say it. Tuesday nights, 7:30 Twitch. And I think that's about it.
Thank you,
Don't blow
Patreons.
your fingers off.
Ciao, bella. Mahalo.
Love you guys. Peace. Brick, Chris Pratt shirtless though, impressive, or he's been better in Guardians.
Yeah,
right?
he's got that dad bod vibe going.
He's a hunk all around, mentally and physically.
For sure, a himbo.
Happy to see you got your dick out of the exhaust pipe, Smithers.